Do you follow someone on Instagram that has like 1 million followers and they just look like they have the perfect world? They have the perfect life. They've always got the perfect body. They always look perfect. Everything's just so perfect about them. It's because they drip feed. This is what an influencer does. This is what a marketer does. And this is what real estate agents need to do. So how can you drip feed, say, a sold result? For example, what you could do is take a photo of the buyer in front of the sold board, take a photo of the vendor in front of the sold board, have a video testimonial of the buyer, of the vendor. You could have the written testimonials from Rate My Agent, from Google, from Facebook, from REA. The list goes on. There's 9, 10, 12 posts just there. Then you can add to this and use not just your results, but other people's results in the office. Their sale is your sale is their sale. And the real estate industry needs to get a grip of this and start using each other's sales. Before a photo shoot, let the vendor know what rooms are going to be photoed. Otherwise, they present the whole house, and at the photo shoot, you don't take photos of the whole house, and this could frustrate the owner. It's not a positive customer experience. During the photo shoot, have high attention to detail, suggest camera angles, shot angles, move furniture, bring cushions, candles, vases, flowers, doona covers, whatever. Be a professional marketer. Present the home to 10 out of 10 because this is going to bring a higher sale price, and it's also going to give you trust in the trust account between you and the vendor, which means they'll listen to your suggestions in the future, which could mean price alignments or price corrections. Now, don't just do price corrections. Any agent can drop price. It takes no skill to drop price. It takes skill to correctly position a property in the marketplace. So touch everything first and then touch price last. That's skill. This too shall pass. This is a Persian adage that reflects on the temporary condition of human feelings. Nothing lasts forever. So if you're feeling sad, just know that this too shall pass. You just take one day at a time. Hang on. There's light at the end of the tunnel. You can do this. Remember, till this date, you've survived 100% of all your worst days. So you can do this again. And when you're feeling great, remember that nothing lasts forever. This too shall pass. So capture the moment, celebrate the moment, and remain humble. On the subject of feelings, never make big decisions, massive decisions when you're emotional, when you're feeling really happy or really sad. I catch southern rock lobsters or crayfish, and sometimes they've got a soft shell, and this is because they're growing. The hard shell pops off as they molt, and there's a soft shell that needs time to harden. And in this time of growth, they're very vulnerable to things that eat them, predators, say sharks, octopus, other lobsters, human beings. They're vulnerable. However, if they don't go through that shedding period, if they don't molt, if they don't pop off that hard shell, that protective layer, they can't grow. And this is a universal rule for heaps of animals are like this. Human beings are like this. We need to leave the safety of our mother's womb. Hermit crabs, to get bigger, they need to be vulnerable and move from one hard shell to another hard shell. It's nature's rule. So the chances are, if you're comfortable right now, if you feel safe, if you're not vulnerable, the chances are you're not growing. You can't have one without the other. If you want to grow, you need to put yourself in a position of vulnerability. There's certain phrases that you can use during a listing presentation to build upon your already strong rapport. They include phrases such as, we are on the same page, we have the same wavelength, I'm getting good energy from you, I've got great vibes from you, I look forward to working with you, I feel like we can work really well together. Words like that can really build upon your already existing rapport. Just be careful not to use too many sayings or Aussie slang because that could confuse some demographics. I'll give you a fun example. We're on the same page, so if we can sharpen the pencil, can we get the ball rolling? A lot of people won't understand that. So add these dialogues to your listing presentation and you'll see it strengthen your rapport. I was at this real estate function and someone runs up to me and says, Michael, can I get a photo? And I was like, oh, cool, that's nice. So I was getting ready for a photo, and then they passed me their phone and put their arm around their friend so that I could take a photo of them and their friend. And I was like, oh my gosh, how embarrassing. Here I was, big-headed, thinking that they wanted a photo with me, but they just wanted me to take a photo of them and their friend. And it's not only a funny moment, but it's a moment that I needed. It's a moment that we all need to remind us to stay humble, and just to be grounded, come back to earth. And I thought, you know what, that was a great message for myself, and I'm sure it's probably a great message for a few of you as well. So thank you. Thinking about something bad that happened 10 years ago is a waste of your really good memory. Thinking about something bad that might happen is a waste of your really good imagination. Thinking about bad things doesn't make the bad things go away, doesn't make us happier, so why do we do it? We have this internal dialogue, this self-talk, and I find that when we think of something, it doesn't just happen once. It might go throughout the whole day, the whole week, the whole year. It's on replay mode, it's on echo mode, so we really need to be careful about what we're thinking about. Think about your bedroom at night, blinds are down, the lights are off, it's dark, there is no light. You turn the light on and there's light. You can't have light and you can't have dark at the same time. Before you jump in the shower, you're dry, you're not wet. You jump in the shower, you're wet, you're not dry. You can't be wet and dry at the same time. Same thing for our emotions. We can't be happy and we can't be sad at exactly the same time. So we need to choose. The following is a meditation from Marcus Aurelius. When you have a sparring partner and they might bruise you, cut you, headbutt you, it's not done on purpose and you don't think it's done with malicious intention. So you forgive it. You're not suspicious of it. You try to avoid it, but you're forgiving. The reason why you're forgiving is because you know that you're both training. Yet isn't life training? Our whole life is training. We're continuously training. We're continuously non-stop in education in school. And so when your vendor, your buyer, your colleague, your boss, your partner, whoever it may be, might scratch you or bump you, a great way to look at it and a different perspective to give you more peace is to know that you're both sparring. You're both learning. You're learning and so are they. So just be more forgiving. Have you ever said the following words to a client or something similar? I don't normally work this late. I don't normally work on a Sunday. I don't normally make this many amendments, but for you, I will. Thinking that you're making the client feel special. They don't feel special. They don't feel like you're giving them extra service because you're really politely complaining. And rather than politely complaining, just say no and don't do it, or say yes and do it. Because politely complaining, what that does is it takes away the added benefit that doing the task actually gives the relationship between you and the client. It takes that away. Yes, the task gets done, but the relationship doesn't get stronger, it gets weaker. You've just purchased a property, you want to renovate it, you want to update it, you want to do A, B, and C. You just move in, but then life changes, things get in the way, maybe finance hurdles, or you've had a baby, or priorities change, and so you don't renovate. Then you sell, and just before you sell, you renovate it, and it's like you've renovated for someone else. We've all done it, and it's because you're human and your prospective vendors are human too. This is why it's so important when you drive through your farm area, your core area, when you see, say, skip bins or tradespeople or new letterbox or mulch or some new gardening getting done, you need to contact these owners because humans are humans. Many of them are renovating right just before they're selling. So there's so many listings in this, but it's about, I suppose, getting off our butt and walking up the pavement and saying hello. You notice that a house is getting some work done to it because there's a skip in out the front. So you walk up the pavement, you knock on the door and you introduce yourself. The tenant answers and you're like, damn, okay, these people aren't selling. But there's still opportunities there. Maybe the tenant is a landlord themselves. Many of the tenants on our books own properties as well. They're rent investors. Perhaps the tenants move in and you could call the absentee landlord and say, hey, not sure if you're aware, but your tenant's considering moving or they are moving. Now's the perfect time to get an update on what your property's worth. Perhaps it's not the tenant updating or moving and it's actually the landlord updating the property. Once again, a fantastic time to get an update on what their property's worth. There's always opportunity. So you're about to finish a prospecting call, and just before you hang up, you ask the client for a referral. By the way, do you know anyone that's thinking about selling? And they say no, that they don't. And the reason why they answer like this is not because they don't know someone thinking about selling. It's because they can't think on the spot about someone that is thinking about selling. So you need to narrow down the filing cabinet inside your prospective vendor's brain. So rather than having such a broad question, be more specific and ask, by the way, do you know anyone on your street that the kids have just moved out and the house might be too big? Do you know anyone on your street where they've just had a baby and the house might be too small? This enables your prospective client to visualize their street, visualize the houses on their street, visualize the families on their street, and be able to really identify if someone has a real estate need. Be specific, narrow your question down. Mrs. and Mr. Vendor, when you go to buy a property, are you going to go to that suburb, go to all the real estate agencies and see what properties they have for sale? Unlikely. You're going to go to the internet portals, search in that suburb and find a home. So we're going to put you on all the internet portals. We'll give you the best packages possible to give you the best exposure. So we're going to get all the buyers that are looking in your suburb. Additionally, because I'm an outer suburb agent, I'm going to be able to bring outer suburb buyers as well. So really you're going to get two bulks of buyers. The buyers that are looking in your area and buyers that aren't looking in your area that I'm going to be able to convert into your area. Thirdly, hypothetically, if you listed with a property, your property for sale with an agent that predominantly just works your area, they've got 4 listings, they got 4 buyer inquiries. Logic says that they're going to split up those 4 buyer inquiries amongst their 4 houses to make 4 commissions. With me, if I have those 4 buyer inquiries, I'm going to direct them all to your house because it's the only house I have for sale in the suburb. You know the male real estate agents that always have perfect hair? It's like they go to the barber every 7 days. It's perfect. Well, imagine if they had that same attention to detail and focus and dedication to their database or their marketing or their real estate career. They would be the #1 agent in their office. See, their issue is not that they lack drive, focus or enthusiasm or anything like that, because they obviously have that. They've got drive to have perfect hair. They've got focus to have perfect hair. They've got discipline. They've got commitment to have perfect hair. So this is not what they're lacking. They're not lacking those things. If they want to be a better real estate agent, what they're lacking is their belief system or their value system. Their belief system and value system is higher weighted towards their hair than their career. So if you're one of these people, the first step to do is think about changing your belief system and your value system. What's important to you? You know, when you go to a fancy restaurant, say a degustation, could be 6 or 8 courses, they give you the price, they give you the menu, you know exactly what you're going to eat. But you never get exactly what's on the menu. You always get more. They always give you pleasant surprises because what's important to these high quality restaurants is the customer experience. On the menu, it might say 1 dessert, but you end up having 3 desserts. On the way out, you might get a gift. It could be wine, it could be chocolate, it could be tea, it could be bread. But they always surprise you. And I think in real estate, we're so quick to tell our prospective clients and our clients that we're going to do X, Y, and Z. We're going to do absolutely everything. We leave no room for pleasant surprises because we tell them everything. And I think it's important to think about the customer journey, think about the touch points that they can have, and see if you can create some pleasant surprises in your business. An influencer is someone on social media that has a lot of friends or followers. They could be rather famous and they get paid to promote a product. Now, this would be great if real estate agents do this, but not many of us sell for many well-known influencers. However, let's not underestimate the mums and dads that we sell for. They live locally, their friends and followers are local as well. They might not have millions, but even a few hundred is still very powerful. You could pay them to promote meetings that you have with them, the photo shoot, brochures for sale board, the sold sticker going up, a testimonial example. And you can pay them per friend, 50 cents a friend, $1 a friend, whatever it may be, and that can come off the top of the commission. This is a way to create a local social influencer package that can be extremely powerful to their networks and help you get more listings. Game day. Open for inspection day, generally a Saturday. I see many top performers start their day well before their first open for inspection and finish their day well after their last open for inspection. What are they doing? They're either booking appraisals early in the day. They're doing private inspections. They're prospecting. The day's already organized. They've done that on Friday. So they're doing buyer inspections, prospecting or appraisals early Saturday morning or even open for inspections. After they're open for inspections, they're doing second inspections for people that saw the house. They're doing appraisals for people that saw the houses today, and they've locked them in for an appraisal straight away after they're open for inspections. They're calling back all the buyers to get fresh feedback from buyers that can actually pick up the phone, not on a Monday where the buyers are at work. They're calling back all the buyers to see if there's any buyer conversions, any sellers in there. They're prospecting the buyers from the open for inspection. This is top performance behavior. Many of our prospective vendors get all sorts of mediums and advertising sent to them through, say, social media, letterbox drops, signboards, SMS, emails, etc. What many of your prospective vendors don't get is personalized handwritten thank you cards. So why not bring this back in? You could do 5 a day. So that's, say, 25 in a Monday to Friday. And what you do is you have a Monday pile, a Tuesday pile, and a Wednesday pile, etc., etc. And you just have 5 per day. And your goal for the day, one of your goals for the day, is to get rid of that pile, get rid of the 5 thank you cards. And this gamifies the system. It makes it a little more enjoyable. It keeps you more accountable. And you can use this system on anything. So the quick guide in 60 seconds is about bringing back thank you cards and gamifying things so that it keeps you accountable. So you're in a listing presentation, you're going up against other agencies, and you get up to the price section and you say, be careful of other agencies that are quoting you a higher figure because they're not really buying your house. You're not buying your house. All they're doing is buying your business. We don't promise you a price. We promise you a process, etc., etc. But what happens if you're the agency that gives the highest figure and the owner says, look, the other agencies think it's worth a little bit lower, and you honestly believe that it's worth what you think it's worth, slightly higher? Well, Mrs. and Mr. Vendor, we value properties or appraise properties based on mostly our sale prices. And because our sale prices are generally higher, our market appraisals are slightly higher too. Additionally, we believe in your house and we believe in our systems and we believe in our structure, and we know we can get a higher price. This is why we believe most properties are worth a little bit more when owners sell with us. That energy and belief, Mrs. and Mr. Owner, is what you want representing you. You can add 3 simple things to your listing presentation today that will have a dramatic impact on your appraised to list ratio. You will list way more properties. And the 3 things you need to bring, or the acronym is BEC, B-E-C. Bring belief, bring energy, bring confidence. Always bring BEC to all your listing presentations. And it's a button that you can press right now. BEC, BEC is infectious. It's contagious. It's, people love it. And that can be your point of difference. It can be something, it can be the swinger. It can be the thing that, you know, swings the business towards you. It can be the deciding pinnacle thing that the owners, your prospective vendors choose in a real estate agency. So remember always to bring your belief, your energy and confidence. So you might have people that work underneath you, or, you know, they're a support person, administration, property management, they're an executive assistant, whatever it may be. And we all make mistakes. You make heaps of mistakes. They make heaps of mistakes. But when you make a mistake, because you're the boss, inverted commas, no one says anything. You know, you're copying for the mistake anyway. You're paying for that mistake. But when they make a mistake, you know, it's awkward. They're embarrassed. They feel terrible. It's costing the company money. And so a little hack that you could do is maybe just have like a mistake allowance per annum. So just for example, it could be $500. And any mistake that they make, they can fix it up if it's money based with that kitty of $500. And at the end of the year, whatever's left over, they get to keep. So that kitty could be a $500, it could be $2,000 or whatever it may be. But that can remove some of the guilt and it can reward really good results and lack of mistakes as well. So you can give someone 5 tasks to do in one day and they'll complete all 5 tasks. And they'll generally finish at the end of the workday, 5:30. Give that same person another 5 tasks on top, so 10 tasks, and they end up finishing at 5:30 as well. It's amazing how we make our tasks fit into our day. And there's a difference between being busy and a difference between being productive. And this isn't just administrational people, it's salespeople. I would say it's salespeople especially. So this is just something to help you reevaluate or self-analyze, you know, how productive are you being? Because if you can save, if you can create an extra hour a day times 365. That's 365 hours you create in a year. That's equivalent, if you work a 10-hour day, that's equivalent to a whole month, more than a whole month of work, of productivity that you're adding to your life. So look for every single second, they're valuable. If you make 10 prospecting calls today, will that change your life? Not really. If you don't make 10 prospecting calls today, will that change your life? Not really. However, if you do that every single day, whether you do it or don't do it, every single day for the rest of the year, for the rest of your life, will it make an impact? Of course it will. So today doesn't really have, it's like a drop of an ocean in comparison to the rest of your life. However, it's the consistency, it's the habit that matters. It comes back to the saying, it's not that strike of the hammer, the 100th strike of the hammer that broke the rock. It's the 99 before it. So consistency will either help you or destroy you. You can consistently do something or not do something that could be good for you or bad for you. And this is just a reminder that what you do today does matter if you do it every single day. And it could be good for you or bad for you. I saw the following photo on Instagram, so I thought I'd talk about it and share it with you. Imagine a flower, it's a picture of a flower and there's rain pouring all over it and it's droopy and it says, the flower says, "This is not what I wanted." Then the next photo of the flower is all bright, there's sun, it's stronger, it's taller, it's grown, and it says, "But maybe it's what I needed." It's also like that same metaphor of coal. When you put the coal under pressure, it turns into a diamond. Or you've got a caterpillar and it goes in a cocoon, it's locked up in a cocoon, but then afterwards it turns into this beautiful butterfly that can fly around. The whole metaphor is a reflection that you are exactly where you need to be right now. And when you plant a seed in your veggie garden, you don't judge that for not being the fruit yet. We're all growing, so don't judge yourself. You're exactly where you need to be. Off-market listings. If you're listing an off-market listing, database sale, no marketing, well then you need a strategy, an SMS strategy, a Facebook strategy, an email strategy, an EDM strategy, a network strategy, a channel agent strategy, a database strategy. You need buyer advocates, because if you don't have a strategy, then it won't sell. And a lot of agents, they list a database or off-market listing to build up the rapport with the client so that when the client is really ready to launch the property for sale properly, they get the listing. But if you don't bring buyers through, if you don't show them enough service during the off-market time, when they're actually ready to sell, they're not going to choose you. Additionally, you're just not going to be able to sell it during the off-market time either, which is obviously the number one priority. So if you're doing off-market, you need to have an off-market strategy. There's no point listing a property that you're not selling. That's like having a farm area that you don't prospect. Quick video on templates. So you've made a prospecting call and you don't know what to send them. You don't know what you've sent them last time. So my suggestion is have templates. An SMS template, a handwritten thank you card template, a written letter template, an email template. And these all have codes, and your executive assistant or yourself, once you've made the phone call, sends this out and puts it in the database so you know what you've sent them. So you rotate your things. You don't always send them thank you cards. You don't always do an SMS. This means that you're going to give this prospective vendor variety. It means that you're going to stay front of mind. It means that you don't have to waste time being creative or thinking on the spot every single time after a phone call. So this adds speed to your business. So my suggestion is, if you don't already, is make some templates, follow-up prospective calls, templates that you can make right now, today. The time you spend watching, tracking, following, talking about, worrying about your competition is the exact same time your competition is working, in essence, progressing further than you. It's the time that you could be working, in essence, progressing further than them. Worrying about your competition does nothing positive for you. The only competition you need to worry about is yourself. If you're in a running race, 100 meters, 10,000 meters, if you stop, that doesn't get you a gold medal. So don't stop and watch your competition. Watching your competition, you only have a limited amount of time. Time is a resource. So don't give your time to your competition, give it to your clients. The problem with real estate is that a lot of us watch each other, and all we do is become refined and better versions of each other. So no one actually really truly stands out and innovates. Stop watching the competition. This video, I'm going to talk about Zoom. Zoom is a program that allows video conferencing. You chat on it, you can mute other people, you can rename people, you can share your screen, your computer screen with them, you can draw on your shared computer screen. You can also live stream to YouTube and Facebook. And I wanted to walk you through how you do that, how you live stream on YouTube or Facebook. You go to the home page of your Zoom account, and you go to account management, account settings, and you scroll all the way down, it's a little bit down, to live streaming. And you turn the toggle on, which allows live streaming. It should turn blue. Then when you're doing your video conference, at the bottom, whilst you're on Zoom with everyone else, you're doing your video conference, you go to the bottom of the tab, okay, the menu tab at the bottom, and click the button More. That More button then allows you to live stream and just follow the prompts. Today's Gone in 60 Seconds is another technology tip. I'm going to talk about Loom, L-O-O-M. It's an application that you download onto your computer, and it allows you to record what's going on your screen. And it also gives you the audio, so whilst you're talking through the presentation, the viewer can see your camera. So they can see your screen, and they can hear you. So it's fantastic for any systems that you have in the business, something that's done more than once. You can create a Loom video on it, and it's very easy to use. It's free, and then you can forward that on to the person that's learning, so you don't have to keep on saying the same thing over and over. So it's a fantastic system there. It's also good for general presentations. So if you have an online presentation that you want to do generally, not specifically, then you can record that as well and send that on to the prospective client. Today, I'm going to talk about Grammarly. It's a bit of technology, an application that you can download on your computer. And it helps you with your grammar, your spelling, your structure of your sentence. It makes it more succinct. It's fantastic. I use it all the time. And in certain places, it just pops up. So it's already included in whatever program you're using. For example, Facebook. If you're on Facebook and you type in, it'll have a little green Grammarly logo as well, and it will automatically suggest things that you need to fix. Other programs that don't have Grammarly automatically, I don't know what you call it, say an API connection, then what you'd have to do is you'd copy and paste it onto Grammarly. It's very simple. Click on Grammarly, new document, copy and paste it. They suggest the fixes, you fix it, you copy and paste it back onto the document that you're typing or writing in. Highly suggested, check it out. In this video, I'm going to talk about Slack. It's a program or a website that you use that basically replaces emails within the business. So you still have emails outgoing to consumers and the public, but Slack can remove the emails within the business, because you know how there's certain people in the business also seed into the same email, and people going backwards and forwards, and all of a sudden you have 20, 30 emails all in the same email subject, and you have to go through it all. It's time consuming, it's frustrating, it's annoying, it's not dollar productive. Well, Slack removes all of this. You can have channels on Slack, and each person that's responsible or needs to be involved in that channel is in that channel. You can add documents, you can put everything into it. Basically, it removes internal emails and saves a lot of time. Slack. I wanted to talk about a website, rev.com. It's a website where you can add text to your videos. Now, text to videos is a great idea because many people watch videos on social media with the sound off on their phone. They might be in the toilet, in the office, next to their loved ones in the bedroom, might be watching TV with their loved ones on the couch, and they're on their phone watching a video. So text on video is a great method or great strategy to get more engagement, and this website does it for a very affordable price. It's a little over $1 a minute to transcribe the audio into text, and so I highly recommend it. It's about a 24-hour turnaround as well. The bit of tech that I wanted to talk about today is Trello, Trello. It's a website and an application that is basically like a real-time bulletin board. So you have these boards and say projects. So for example, it could be one on marketing, and everyone involved in the business that's in marketing has access to the board called marketing. And in this board, there's 3 lists. It's a to-do list, a currently doing list, and a done list. And it's done in real time. And so there's no need for follow-ups or email chains backwards and forwards. People just log on and they see what the update is for each part of that particular project. It's fantastic for groups, for teams. It's fantastic with someone with executive assistants, or it's even great, which I use it a lot for personal accountability. I put my goals and my projects on there, and I always check in on it every single week. In today's video, we're talking about Wunderlist. And it's an app that you install on your phone, and it's basically like a more simplified version of Trello, but on your phone. And you've got lists, and you can share these lists with other team members or your friends or your partner. And when you add something to the list, the people that are shared to that list get notified. And when you complete the task and you tick it off, people on that list get notified. So it could work when you go shopping, grocery shopping. You put your whole list of everything that you want to buy. You and your partner split up in the shopping center. You get all the items. You see it getting ticked off on the phone, and then you meet at the register. In real estate, for example, could work for what houses need to be door knocked, what gifts need to be dropped off, what tasks need to be completed, etc., etc. The list goes on. Wunderlist. Snip and Sketch is a program for Windows computers. You download it and it goes on your toolbar. And basically it allows you to, say, screenshot anything on your screen and send it to whoever you want. Previously, what you'd do is you'd screenshot, maybe paste it or paste it in Paint, crop it, and then save it as a JPEG, then send it to your designer. But with Snip and Sketch, it's a lot quicker, a lot easier. It saves a lot of double handling. So it's really good for creative people, people that are in the marketing department, or if you're getting something designed, it's easy to go back and forwards with your graphics designer. Snip and Sketch. Apple's computers already have this inbuilt function, so it's for Windows computers. At the moment, agents are doing private inspections in one of two ways. One, there's a subject property, call it Smith Street, and one buyer goes through at 1 o'clock, another buyer goes through at 1:10, another buyer goes through at 1:20, and this creates competition, and it's quite time efficient for the vendor and the agent. Very good strategy. Second strategy that agents are adopting is they're taking one buyer through several houses, all in, say, half an hour or in 1 hour. So you're taking this one buyer, they follow you in the car, going from A property, B property, C property, D property. Fantastic strategy. An ultimate private for inspection strategy is a combination of the two, where you take one qualified, finance-approved hot buyer through A property, B property, C property, and your colleague does the exact same thing 10 minutes after you. So buyers are seeing multiple properties, vendors are getting heaps of inspections, and the buyers are also seeing competition at the same time. Ultimate private for inspection strategy. I was on a boys' trip, and there was a few real estate agents in the car, and we're driving for 6 hours. In this time, I got to overhear a lot of conversations and dialogues and strategies. One of the ones that stood out was this. A real estate agent would refer business to a conveyancer that they haven't listed yet. So prospective vendors that they haven't listed yet, obviously they get a referral fee. But more importantly, what happened is this conveyancer would follow up this prospective vendor for the agent and find out if the prospective vendor had any concerns, and would also highly recommend the agent to this prospective vendor and say that they've sold quite a few of the clients' houses and all the clients are really happy. So it's just another added, it's another strength, it's another feather in the cap. It's just another positive reason for this prospective vendor to list with the agent. And I thought that was a fantastic strategy to use the conveyancer to spread the good word. So this is just a little social media hack. If you add your prospective vendors to your phone contacts and you allow Facebook to have access to your phone contacts, the mobile phone number acts as a serial number, and Facebook picks this up and suggests them as friends. You add them as friends, and because Facebook owns Instagram, Instagram will also suggest them as friends. You start following them. And if you press follow on Instagram, go down to the notifications. You can be notified when they post, when they do a video, when they do a live, when they do a story. So you can comment on it and create rapport that way with your prospective vendor. Additionally, Facebook and Instagram algorithm knows when you're messaging and when you're liking and when you're commenting, so it believes that you're really close friends, so that when you post something, that prospective vendor will see that post because of all your interaction. So nowadays you do interviews via a robot or video before you get to meet a person. You're doing self-checkouts at the shopping center rather than a person doing the checkout for you. It used to be where having a screen was a luxury item, but now screens are so high in demand that there's a lot of competition, so they're cheaper to make. So now everyone has a screen. Now what a luxury item is, so a luxury item used to be having a screen. Now what a luxury item is human interaction, face-to-face conversations. So it's interesting. I wonder, how much the rich and the wealthy spend in front of screens. It would be a lot less, I think. And it's interesting to see the shift from what luxury is. Luxury is time, face-to-face, human interactions. That's expensive. This video is about digital sign-in for authorities. It's not only good for the planet, it saves paper, it's quicker, it automates the systems, everything goes to the administration and sales support. But what it can also do is the prospective vendor might have interviewed a few agents and you may be the only agent that sends them an email that they can just sign and the green button is pressed. And this ease, because some vendors, they can't distinguish the difference between all real estate agencies. They think we can all get the same price. They think we all give the same service. They think that we're very similar. And if the difference is the fact that they don't have to meet up with an agent again and they can just press sign, especially for a busy family or a busy property owner, then they may just sign it and you have your exclusive authority. So get onto the digital sign-in. I went to an appraisal and it was a shoes off house and we were sitting in a dining area which was tiled and my feet were freezing. And I thought, well, as agents, when we present a home, the buyers are walking through, if they have to take their shoes off, then they're going to have a negative experience. So we should have branded slippers or maybe shoe coverings that are branded, plastic coverings like, the shower caps, but you can put on your feet. And this could be for open for inspections, and it's not only good for the owner, it's not only good for the buyer because they have a more pleasant experience, but when prospective vendors come to your open for inspections, because it's branded, they're going to think this has been considered, this has been thought about. I want to work with an agency that has all these 1%ers. Now, this isn't going to be the thing that gets you the listing. It might get your listing now and then, but it's little details like this that make a massive difference when you do it everywhere in your business. This is a tip/strategy I got from Ryan Thompson, Real Estate Brilliance. And I think we all do it, but we don't make it as an actual strategy. We do it by default. And that is driving through your farm area and working out, what changes people make into the exterior of their property, whether it be mulch, litter box, painting, new roof, etc. Because many of the times you got a dumpster out the front, renovations, plumber, anything. A lot of the times people are updating their house just before they're getting ready to sell. So you could do a reverse directory search. You could check your database to see if they're already in there. You can door knock them whilst they're there. And you could have a buddy that one person drives, one person takes the notes and then reverse it in each other's farms. You could have an EA do it, executive assistant go out and do it. But the important thing is consistency. Go out there, do it every 14 days, maybe every, at least once a month. And you will find that you could get an extra 10 listings a year. Spoke to one of our agents this week and she said, Michael, I've got too many listings. I don't want to list anymore. And I said, there's no such thing. List as much as you can. But she doesn't have the time to do the open for inspections and she has an executive assistant. And I said, well, you need to start looking at the team as your executive assistants that you don't have to pay for. They are your executive assistants, they're higher paid. They get a higher commission split because they're doing the sale, but they're there to help you. They can do the open for inspection. So go list 100 properties and all you do is the weekly vendor meetings or vendor education and communication, and that's it. The other agents in the team can do the rest. And this is leverage. And this is the way that salespeople need to start thinking. They need to stop thinking about keeping everything for themselves or doing everything by themselves. You need to start leveraging your team. That's what the team is for. A team can do a lot more than one person. And so if you're in a great team, use the great team. This is a bit of dialogue you can use in your listing presentation when you're talking about advertising or commission or wherever you see fit. It's the craftsman versus the tools. And basically you say, You can have the best craftsman, woman, person, and if they don't have the right tools, then they can't get the right result. And if you change that around and say, you can have the best tools, the absolutely best equipment possible, but if you don't have the best craftsman, woman, person, then you're not going to get the best results. And this is a great analogy or metaphor when you're discussing advertising being the tool, or commission being the craftsperson. When should someone put on their first executive assistant? I think around the $400,000 mark, because that's going to launch you quickly to the next level, which is probably around 600. Keep in mind, there's no point putting on an executive assistant at 400 if you're only going to go to 500, because it doesn't even pay for itself. So you need to go to 600 minimal just to really, kind of break even to make it worth it. The EA, executive assistant, what they do is everything in your business. They do absolutely everything in your business that is not prospecting, listing, and selling. That's right, I said prospecting. You cannot outsource prospecting to your first EA. That can be to a second level or third level executive assistant, but prospecting is a high level skill that takes years to learn. You need to have that intuition, that sense. So you cannot give that to your first executive assistant. Your first executive assistant frees you up, takes away all the administrational work, so you can prospect, list, and sell. Put them on at around that $400,000 GCI mark. Real estate agents are notorious for spending a lot of money and time to try and find new business, and we forget about the business that has already done business with us, past clients. So think about this. Vendors that have sold with you that are happy and still live within the area, or buyers that have purchased from you, what you could do is, and what we have virtual assistants that send in a link. It could be a domain link, and a realestate.com link, whatever link, of a house that you sold in the past. And all it says is, Michael, how much is this worth? It's got the link, you open it, you look at it because you sold it, and you can write back how much it's worth. Then the VA sends a letter on your behalf to that person and says, hi, just part of our service, and keeping a long-term relationship, this is what your property is now worth. And so you keep on doing this with all your past clients, and all of a sudden you're doing hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of appraisals every month automatically. This is a past purchaser, past client, technology, customer service tip. When someone buys a house or sells a house, take a photo in front of the board with the sold sticker. Then say that you want to share that with them and tag them on Facebook. Then what happens is every single year, Facebook will bring up that memory, and that can be a little reminder, and you just forward message them or comment on it and just say, oh, it's been 1 year, it's been 5 years, it's been 10 years since you've sold or bought. How are you? And because it's done on Facebook, it's more personal. It doesn't look like you're doing it because it's a work thing. It's done more on a human level. Prevention is better than a cure. Yet people pay more for a cure than a prevention. Think about it. People will buy a Panadol over vitamins. When people have a problem, they want it fixed ASAP, and they will pay for that problem to be fixed. So when you're in a listing presentation, find out people's why, find out their pain, and tailor your presentation as a solution to their pain. Sell it as a cure. Focus your company's points of difference more as a cure to the problems that your vendor already has, over a prevention to problems that your prospective client might have in the future. So don't sell a high sell price when your client wants privacy. Don't sell cheap marketing when your vendor wants very good marketing. Every single house, every single property owner in your core marketplace is selling. That's right, everyone is selling. Yet everyone just focuses on the immediate seller. There's 3 types of sellers. One that is selling right now because it suits their plans, their lifestyle, their family's needs. Okay, so they're the immediate sellers that most real estate agents focus on. The second seller is if the price is right. Say a house is worth, say you give them an offer that's above market value. So that's someone not thinking about selling, but if the price is right, everyone's got a price right, well then they would sell. Number 2 seller. The third seller is that pretty much every single house in your core marketplace is selling in the next 50 years. So it's not a no, it's just a no right now. And so agents need to change their mindset and look at every single contact and every single house in the marketplace as a prospective vendor, because everyone is selling. It's just a matter of when. This is a quick Facebook and Instagram tip. It helps you find people that are in your Facebook and Instagram database that are potentially thinking about selling. And if you just ask people, are you thinking about selling? They're going to say no because they know you're a real estate agent and they don't want you following them up. So you need to ask other questions that is really the same question as, are you selling? And so how you can do that is you can create polls or questionnaires or, polls on Instagram, the yes, no poll. So it could be something like, are you living in your dream home? And people will just, they're flicking through their stories or what have you, and they're just going to go yes or no. They're not thinking that this is a prospecting tool. They're not thinking that this is a sales pitch. Are you living in your dream home? Do you want to move closer or further away from the city? Would you like a bigger or smaller house? You ask them these questions, which is exactly the same as, are you thinking about selling? But it's just asked differently and it's on a poll, so people are more likely to answer. You're driving around your local area, you can see that people are changing their houses, so you door knock them and many of them are selling. They might have a skip in front of their house, they're doing renovations, painting, what have you. But driving around your area takes time and you're busy doing real estate. So how can you get someone to help you? Well, you could create a relationship, an agreement with the local postman, postwoman. You could pay them to give you tip-offs. You could pay your local letterbox dropper to drop letterbox drops for you, plus pay them extra if per tip that they give you, per tip off. Or let's just say you're going to pay them $100 for 1,000 letterbox drops. You might pay them $150 if they also give you tip-offs of people that are changing their property. A really great tip to get warm leads. So we all know that data is king. Data is the currency of today, and all the major businesses are collecting data. That is what they do. That's one of their main focus points. Look at Facebook, for example. All it does is collect data. And real estate agents and agencies are doing the same thing. They're collecting data. And I just wanted to make a point on email addresses to focus on collecting personal email addresses, not work email addresses, because people change company, they job hop. And sometimes, people would stay at a company for 30 years. And now if you stay at a company for 3 years, that's considered a lengthy time. So culture's changing. So collect personal email addresses. Then create, systems or procedures or something that you email out, say, for example, monthly, that has something to do with your local marketplace specifically, that adds value. And then you can see who opens up these emails through your email provider. And then that way you can see who's potentially thinking about selling. In a previous Gone in 60 Seconds, I discussed having all your prospective vendors in your contact list on your phone and allowing Facebook to have access to this so it can suggest friends for you, and then you've got your prospective vendors on Facebook. Well, where possible, it's very, very important to message your prospective vendors via Facebook Messenger, over an SMS, over an email. And the reason for this, or you could do all at the same time, but the reason for this is it increases your algorithm or your friendship score. And the more that Facebook sees you guys discussing, talking, chatting, liking, sharing each other's posts, the more Facebook thinks that you're friends, so that when you post something in the future, your prospective vendor will see that. So where possible, make sure you do everything via Messenger and on Facebook. A brand is what people think about, the thoughts that goes in someone's mind when they see a logo. You have a personal brand and your face and your name is your logo. What do people think about when they see your face and your name on signs? Your friends, your best friend has a brand. Are they on time? When you think about their name, do you think, oh, that person's on time, they're reliable, they tell the truth, etc., etc.? Tesla has a brand. Do you think it was considered, designed, curated, planned, and strategized? Of course it was. And how did that brand come about? Prada has a brand. And what do you think about when you see the logo Prada, or when I say the word Prada? There's certain words like luxury that come into mind, but they don't need to plaster the word luxury everywhere. They do luxury. So if you want to be known, if you want to have a personal brand for something, you don't need to plaster those words everywhere. You need to do those things, because actions speak louder than words. Design your personal brand. Let's unpack why you might have call reluctance. You procrastinating from making your prospecting calls. One is you feel that you're not competent, or you're scared, you don't want to stuff up the phone call, so you don't make the phone call. And there's irony in this, because if you don't make the phone call, that is stuffing up the phone call, because you're not building up the rapport that you need to get the business. Every master was once an amateur, and so you really just need to start. And confidence comes from competence. Competence comes from doing the thing. So you just need to get out there, face your fears, and do it. I know it's easier said than done. Sometimes you don't make the prospecting calls because you don't want to annoy people. Well, this is how I sell it to myself. I say, Michael, you need to make the phone call, because if you don't make the phone call, they're going to go with someone else, and they deserve to go with the best. You are the best because you've trained the hardest, so they deserve to know who you are. So when the time comes, they choose you. Today's Gone in 60 Seconds is about an app that helps you make more professional videos. It's called Video Teleprompter Lite, Lite, 3 words, Video Teleprompter Lite. It's a free app. And it's a teleprompter, so rather than like on my videos where I'm looking around trying to remember what I'm about to say, you can actually, write your full script, put it on your phone, and it overlays on top of your screen whilst you're doing the video recording, which is absolutely perfect. So I think this is great for like live market update videos or anything that's really factual, or maybe perhaps a little bit longer than average. Obviously you'd have to practice it to make sure that it's a little bit more natural, because when you're reading, sometimes it's not as natural. But it's a lot more professional, that's for sure, and you won't miss anything, and you'll be more concise, which is important. So download it, have a look at it, check it out, it's free. SMS Broadcast is an application that allows you to bulk SMS. Now, I know all your CRMs allow you to do that, but sometimes the CRM on-sells this product to you. So they buy the SMS product for X dollars and they sell it to you for Y dollars, so it can get very expensive, especially, in our office, we have 80,000 people in our database. So SMS Broadcast allows you to download your database into a CSV, upload it, and then you can send it that way, and it's a lot more cost effective. It's also great if you're doing unbranded lead generation, because you don't want to send that from your database. There's another application I've heard of called Reach. That's completely free because it uses your subscription or your phone contract, and it uses the SMSs from there. The only problem with it is that you have to press send to each individual person. So it's very time consuming, and time is money. So yeah, there's some SMS products that you can use. Use your CRM, Broadcast, or Reach. Sometimes we overcomplicate things. We try and make things extra technical, extra fancy, and that's not the thing that actually works. This simple SMS strategy will find you listings within your current database. It's really simple. You just do a text message out to your database, short enough within your maximum characters allowed per SMS, so you don't get double charged. And it goes like this. Hi, if I could sell your property for a price that you're more than happy with, without any advertising cost, would that interest you? ? That's it. You will get people replying back, okay? And then you list them as database only first. And if that doesn't work, then you go to full-blown marketing. Give it a shot. Remember, the power of an idea is in the implementation, not the knowledge. Many of your prospective vendors are buyers. Many of them want to buy before they sell. Most of them at least want to know that if they're going to sell first, that what they're looking to buy is at least available on the market now and then. So why not share from your favorite portals? Press the share button, forward to, share link, to your prospective vendors, other agents' listings. Take out 1 or 2 hours a week, put it in your diary. It's a $10 million appointment. You never cancel it, and you go through the listings and you send it to your prospective vendors. They're going to see these houses anyway, but if you can get it to them before the agent that actually has the listing gets it to them, when that agent that has the listing finds out about these people and tries to convert them into an appraisal, you're really going to be their agent, because you're like a buyer advocate. So spend a couple of hours a week doing that. Be a buyer advocate, perhaps a free buyer advocate, and share other agents' listings. So I haven't done a Gone in 60 Seconds for about 2 months, and I could have the excuse that I've been really busy. I've been planning, COVID, strategizing. We've been recruiting a lot of agents into the network all over the country now. But at the end of the day, I just didn't make time to do Gone in 60 Seconds. And I thought, am I going to start it again? Am I going to go through the whole effort again? And I know it's good for me. I know it provides value to some of the people that watch it. So I thought I'm going to start it again, and not to put a full stop where I should put a comma. And many of you that are watching this have the same thing in your life. You've put a full stop somewhere where you should have just put a comma. So I'm suggesting maybe just to get that motivation and just start and implement whatever that thing was that you were doing. It was working really well for you. It was serving you a good purpose, good cause, and you've stopped it. Well, now's the time to start again. A way to engage and inform and add value to your prospective vendors is have them tagged on your CRM and SMS them weekly, all the results in the marketplace. But do it in such a way that's not asking for business, doing it in a way that gives value to them. You could go a step ahead of this and go, okay, well, this is the houses in this pocket, or this is the houses that are 4-bedroom, or this is the houses that are on water, and only message them about houses and sales that are very specific to them. Good CRMs these days have mapping, so you can, have a sale and say only 100 meters around this, or 500 meters around this, a radius. And you could put that in your SMS and just be really specific. And now I know this is not rocket science or anything like that. It's nothing new, but it's the implementation that makes this amazing, and the consistency that makes this amazing. Add value by giving information, and timely information, quicker than they can see on the internet. If you're doing a lot of database sales or off-market sales, where you're selling properties before they go onto the major portals, very important to still get those results in the sold section. Get a professional photo taken of the exterior and load them on, because these portals form part of your CV, your resume to the marketplace. They're Googling you, they're researching you, and they're interviewing you before you even know that they're interviewing you. They're interviewing you digitally without you even being there. So update your profile as much as you can on all the portals. They're all very important. On the web, some agents put address available on request, so they don't advertise the actual address of the property, and this is designed to generate inquiry. My understanding that unless it's a really gorgeous home or there's something really special or beautiful about it, it actually doesn't generate inquiry. It might drop inquiry. Putting that aside though, many of these agents that put address on request also have the floor plan on the ad. And on the floor plan, it has the address. So just think about what you want to do, what your strategy is, whether you give the address or if you don't give the address. But if you're not intending to give the address, yet the address is on the floor plan, that defeats the purpose of the whole strategy. The word guarantee is a very dangerous word that some salespeople just use like it's a normal word. Be very careful with this, because using this word can ruin your reputation, and people won't rely on your word. When a vendor says to you, or prospective vendor says, can you guarantee me a price? Don't ever say yes. You can't guarantee a price because you're not in control of the price. You're a highly influential ingredient to the result, but you cannot guarantee the price. Market can change, things can happen. When a vendor says to me, Michael, can you guarantee a price? I say, I can't guarantee you a price, but I can guarantee you a process, a system, and a structure that if your price or higher is out there, I will get it for you. So all you need to do is, Michael, here's the keys. Say, Michael, here's the keys. Do what you need to do. And I need you to follow my systems. As long as we both follow my systems, we're going to get the best price possible. That I can guarantee. What do you do? What does your office do with the underbidders from auctions? These buyers are hot, they're ready to go, finance is approved, they're frustrated, they will pay the right price. And a lot of listing agents can get protective and say, no, they don't want to give away that information to the rest of the team. But all buyers, especially underbidders, should be available to all team members. And this is the power of being in a team. And, you can get access to theirs, they get access to yours, and then everyone wins. Because when you think about it, you're not stopping the opposition agency from speaking to those underbidders. So why should you stop your team members? You use their buyers, they use your buyers, and have a separate database, have a separate tab, have a separate category on your CRM or something, so that everyone can access these hot buyers. These hot buyers are gold. They need to be shared. And this is the leverage and the power and the synergy that you can get from working in a team. Sometimes you bump into someone that you haven't seen for a long time, and they might say, oh, we should catch up for lunch, we should catch up for dinner, but it never happens because you haven't seen each other for a reason. You guys don't really need to see each other. You don't really want to see each other, because if you wanted to, you would have made it happen before you bumped into each other by accident. There's another thing where people they make a time to, whether it be lunch, a catch up, social, work, appointment, prospective client, appraisal, and these people cancel, and they've cancelled a few times, and you're not sure whether or not they're cancelling on you because they're actually busy and they're giving you legitimate reasons, or because they just don't, they're too polite to say a direct no to you. So a great way to do it is just to say, oh, okay, yeah, we should reschedule. When they say can't make it, and you say, yeah, we should reschedule, but not actually say a time. And if they don't come back with an actual time, then they don't want to see you. And if they don't want to see you, you don't want to see them. People capital or human capital is the intangible assets or value of a company that does not show on its balance sheet. People capital could be something like the experience, the learning, the education. It could also be things like punctuality, loyalty, the courteous nature. This is worth a lot of money. Surround yourself with strong people capital. Surround yourself with a team, complementary skills, not the same skills as you, opposite skills to you. Because if you are surrounded by people with the same skills as you, then you're not actually needed. You need to have complementary skills of the other person. That's when 1 + 1 = 3 and it doesn't equal 2. That is true synergy. Don't get yes sir people that just tell you what you want to hear. Get people that tell you what you need to hear. Remember, people capital is just as important, and in case more important than cash capital. At the end of a financial year or calendar year, a lot of real estate agents put together their new upcoming GCI goals. GCI stands for Gross Commission Income. And I think this is fantastic because if you can't hit a target that you don't have. And even if the goals are high, it's still good, because if you miss, like if you shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you land amongst the stars. So very good, very important to have these goals. However, what's more important than a GCI goal is an NCI goal. GCI is gross commission income. NCI is net commission income. And so NCI is a lot more important, because I know $1 million agents that take home $300,000, $400,000 per year after PA, tax, company, franchise fees, etc. And then I know $600,000 agents that take $550,000. You tell me which one's better. NCI. There's an app for desktop. It's called Boomerang. It's not for Instagram or anything like that. It's for your emails. So, for example, you send out an email and you want to get reminded about it. Then what happens is you might send an important email, and what I do is sometimes I used to CC myself in, and then that way the person would get the email, I would get the email, and I would leave it as unread in my inbox, and then that would remind me to follow it up in the future. But Boomerang app allows you to schedule a follow-up. So you would send it, and then you can pick when you want it to pop up back in your inbox again. Very handy tool, look it up. If you're not sure whether or not you should delegate an item or a job or a task, this is probably a good way to look at it. How important is it that this task gets done right now? So speed. Versus how important is it that you have your own time, you free up your time, and then because you free up your time, you get to do something else that could bring more value to the table. So that's speed versus time. Does it need to be done right now? So that's you doing it, not delegating it? Or is it more value if someone else does it, even if it's done at a later date, and that frees your time up to do something that potentially is more valuable, or that can bring more to the table, whether it be more money or more happiness? Most would know the difference between the golden rule and the platinum rule. And the golden rule is do to others as you would like to be done to yourself. And the platinum is do unto others as they would like done to themselves. So this comes back down to communication. So you might like to be phone called. However, I hate to be phone called. No offense if you give me a phone call. I prefer SMS because I'm generally doing something. I'm generally busy. And if someone SMSs me, I can get back to them in my time. But that's just me. So you need to look at your vendors, your prospective vendors, and see what they like. Is it Facebook, WeChat, WhatsApp, Messenger, Instagram, SMS, email, phone calls? Each one of them will be different. and you need to figure out what that is and communicate in their style.